Hello, Chariot Rider here, and I am going to be starting a new series on my channel. This series is Subterfuge, which is a week-long game of strategy and diplomacy. Um, this is sort of embarrassing, though, because I had my first episode all made, and I'm going to have to record over it because my microphone was not feeding into my software, so I apologize. For most of the rest of the series, I don't make noobish mistakes, and so um, I can just you hear me in present tense. So anyway, for this first bit of the episode, I'm gonna just explain the rules. So this is sort of me showing how long it can take to travel in between outposts. Um, as you saw, it takes almost 18 hours to travel in between Boxlighter and Smithrand, which is quite a lot. This game is it takes quite a long time to play. Up to a week or even more. Um, it gets stuff done by putting drillers on your subs, which drillers are your main fighting force of the game. One driller will destroy one driller, so generally more drillers will be more powerful. Um, and you can move them around by throwing them onto subs. Subs cannot change course until they reach their destination, and they can run into other subs going the opposite direction. Um, Now, there are two kinds of factories I have. There are two kinds of outposts. There are factories, and there are factories and there are reactors. Factories, plain and simple, they just make drillers. However, the reactors, what they do is they increase my electrical output, which is quite important, in fact, because my electrical output is I can only have as many drillers as I have electrical output, so if I only have 250, I can only have 250 drillers, which is not a lot, so reactors are quite important in this. Um, and my queen also gives off 150 output, or electrical output. That's another thing, my queen. She is the most important person in the game. If I lose her, then I am eliminated. So I need to make sure that she is protected at all times. Um, because it wouldn't be good if she died. Um, so, anyway, that's the queen. Um, she also does a few other things, but I'll talk about that later. So, I'm sort of talking about the time machine now. So, you can set up your actions to be done in the future, so you do not have to be in the game to launch a sub or something like that. I just demonstrated that. I just put forward an hour, and after an hour would pass, this sub of 20 drillers would launch. So I could set stuff up to happen overnight, and then it could go to sleep, and then it could wake up the next morning, and all the stuff I'd set up to be done would be done. This makes the game very approachable, because you don't have to spend all your time in it to be competitive, and it just makes it easier to play, which is quite nice. Still wake up in the middle of the night, though, sometimes, wondering what is happening and why you're gonna die. But anyway, so these gray outposts are dormant outposts. Nobody owns them, but once a sub reaches them, they are claimed immediately. So the game starts off with a bit of a land grab to start off with. So I've set up all my subs to go and get these dormant outposts, because they're essentially free outposts, and you want to get as many of them as possible. But I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Let's see. I believe that I'm starting to talk about specialists. So, specialists are special units in the game. You can hire them from your queen. Your queen every so often will give you a hire, which can be spent on specialists, which specialists are special units in the game which do special things. Like, for instance, here are three of them. There's the Sentry, Infiltrator, and the Hypnotist. This is the Sentry. It has a certain radius which it fires in, and it destroys 5% of drillers in each outpost every time it shoots, or in the sub every time it shoots. So it shoots at an outpost and just pings it for 5% of its subs, or drillers. This is the Infiltrator. It drains 20 shield charge from an outpost. It attacks. Just so you know, shield is the rings around it. Shields drain drillers before they drain, or shields destroy. You had to destroy the shields before you can destroy their drillers. Another important thing is combat priority. Specialists with lower combat priority apply their effects before the specialist with the higher combat priority. And then there's the Hypnotist, which takes control of all the captured specialists at an outpost. So you can convert people to my side, in a way. So that's quite nice. In fact, I decided to go with the Hypnotist because I don't really like the Infiltrator, and the Sentry is too defensive for the beginning of the game. But anyway, so that's the one I decided to hire. But he can also be promoted, which what promotions do is they turn a specialist into another specialist. So the Hypnotist can become the king, which is amazing. But I didn't have time off to read, but you could have paused the video there. So I think I should probably go over a bit of what I'm trying to do in this game. So, in this game, I'm starting off by grabbing as much as I can, or as much as I can in terms of dormant outposts. So, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, ish, outposts. So, I think that's okay. The only problem is they're all factories, so my electrical output is going to be hurting for quite a bit. Now, generally I like to start off the game by attacking somebody, because if you don't attack them, they're going to attack you, and if you're on the defense, you're going to be losing your outpost, and it'll just snowball until you just have one outpost, but you have a million drillers and quite a few specialists. Or at least that happens quite a bit. So anyway, so I'm gonna be taking all the outposts that are closest to me, since generally that's what I try to do, and moving on from there. Now, the first person I was going to attack is Roadkill, because he's not going to have very much where he can expand to. Nojo is on his other side, and, well, Nojo is going to block him from expanding that direction, and I am going to block him from expanding my direction. I'm taking at least one outpost. He's going to be getting 1, 2, 3 outposts at best, which he might even get less, depending on what happens. Nojo will be able to attack him right away, forcing him to retreat his drillers. And so I just decided to bring all my drillers over towards this front, because if I can pound him hard before he can get a foothold, then he'll be an easier target. So, that's quite nice. So that was my plan for the start of the game. So I'm just setting up for this massive fight in between me and Roadkill. I believe he's also going to get that one up to the north as well. So yep, that's just me bringing over even more drillers. That's 30 drillers coming over, or I guess 20 drillers because I wanted to leave 10. I have 40 drillers coming over from that reactor. They're all coming in over to Roadkill, which this is going to be my opening play of the game, which should leave me in a very good spot to start doing other things. So anyway, This is Subterfuge. I recommend that you check this out. Um, anyway, this has been Chariot Rider. Um, I have a few seconds left. Ride on. Um, anyway, see you next time in about 24 hours.